So these are a couple of products that I got from this company, Olala, I think it is. And these were sent in for review, so I did not purchase them, but I'm going to check them out because I finally have my iPhone back. I did the glass liquid protection application the other day, and I had to wait 36 hours to start using my phone again. So I've been using my Android since then. So let's start with this external power supply here. Now, both of these products have the made for iPod, made for iPhone certification. So these are MFI. They will not damage your phone, and that's kind of a big deal nowadays, especially if something plugs into your Lightning port, and both of these products do. So you want to make sure that you don't buy anything that doesn't say made for iPhone, because you can have some serious problems, including your phone not charging and including the phone not working at all, which is bad news. So let's go ahead and check this out. I want to open these up just as they came. I have not seen the inside of this yet whatsoever. And we're going to need to break the seal. So let's do that. And here we have a complete case that will give us 3,200 milliamps of standby power, I assume. I'm not sure how that switches over, but we'll find out shortly. It's a very nice case. It has a glossy finish, looks pretty decent. Obviously, it is going to make the phone bulkier, so that's usually the first bit of skepticism that I hear from people considering external chargers. But if it's that or having a battery that doesn't last very long, well, you get to take your pick. So this is a very small guide. We have welcome and some dimensions. I can't imagine too much as far as instructions. This claims, however, that you'll get up to 130% more power. So more than twice as long as what your phone's normal standby is. It's rechargeable over 500 full cycles, which every lithium-ion battery should be. And then, of course, we're going to fully charge it before we use it. But I want to take a look at what it looks like on the phone. We do get a charging cable, which, of course, is going to be a micro USB. So isn't that ironic? Everything that runs, that's aftermarket that runs something else, cannot be a Lightning port, because I imagine that is some sort of proprietary deal. We have an extension here also for your headset jack. For whatever reasons, I assume that maybe an OEM one won't fit in through the case here, so we'll test that out shortly. Mainly, I want to see what this looks like on the phone, and my phone is kind of space gray or whatever it is that they call it, so if yours is white or some other color, it may look different, obviously. I would assume this doesn't come charged, but installation will be very simple, and we will charge it up. Again, I just wanted to kind of see what this looks like once we have it on. Now, these things you'll probably want to be careful with. They do feel pretty sturdy, though. I always feel like if you line them up straight, you might crack something, but these seem like they're pretty tough. And there we have our double thick. It's about as thick as a 3GS, maybe a little thicker. And hopefully this will give us tons of standby power. I'm going to have to check it out and see how it works. I honestly do not know how you switch over to the backup, but we're going to definitely charge this up fully, and you always want to do that with anything that has a lithium-ion battery when you first get it. Make sure it's fully charged before you start using it, and I'm going to check this out for a while and get back soon and let you know how it went. I've been using this case for the past few days, and I have a few observations. What's cool about this case is that if your battery dies, you can put your phone in the case and you're good to go as long as the case is charged, as opposed to dealing with a power bank where you actually have to have the phone plugged in the entire time that it's charging. So it's nice that the recharge mechanism is built into the case. Beyond that, I probably wouldn't normally use this as a phone case because it's kind of big and bulky, but if you know that you're going to have to use your phone for a long period of time, it would be a great way to just have your backup kind of built in to the phone itself. For people who need to have a lot of standby time or get a lot of usage out of their phone, it does more than double the capacity of the battery. You'll notice on the inside, if you take a look here, and I'll show you some closer up pictures, that they did basically design this to accommodate the speaker and the microphone down here at the bottom. So you've got ports, channels actually right inside the case that allow the sound to travel freely to the microphone and the speaker on your phone. So that doesn't really affect the call quality of your speakerphone. Another thing that I noticed very soon after I started using this case is that installing it works best on a flat surface. So if you try to put this together like this, it's a little awkward because you've got to line up everything here. So just a tip, if you want to put this thing on, lay it down on a flat surface and it slides right on. You don't have to worry about lining up those little legs on the side, which did end up being a lot more durable than I expected. I thought these would be flimsy, but they aren't. They're pretty strong, so they do hold up well. Also, this is designed for the 6 and the 6S, so we can absolutely put an iPhone 6S inside the case. It does fit a little more snug, but not too bad. So outside of that, another thing that you want to take into consideration is going to be this headset jack. It is obviously recessed quite a bit because of the case, so you will not be able to plug your headphones into the phone this way. It simply isn't going to reach, and it doesn't really fit through the port at the bottom anyway. So they do include this extra piece, which I would recommend if you're going to be using a headset with your phone. You will need to have this. It's just basically an extension, so at this point you can plug your headset jack in here, but it is one more thing to carry around, obviously. Another thing that's recessed on this case is the power button, and that's because of the way this is designed. When you get everything put together, I will say, and I'm going to put this back on my 6. So the other thing that you'll notice when I get this put back together is that it does definitely affect the accessibility of the power button. Because of the way the case is designed, it kind of goes down inside here. And while it does work, you do have to put a little extra pressure here to reach this. So unless you push hard enough, it's actually recessed behind the case. So you really have to go down in there in order to hit the lock button. Now that's not a big deal for the most part because you can wake up the phone with the home button, but as far as putting the screen into standby, it is going to require some extra effort to do that. What's interesting about this is the way that it works. So if we have the case on the phone and we plug in a charger, which again is going to be a micro USB, it is actually going to start charging the phone first rather than the case. So that's good news. Obviously, we want to make sure that we're using the primary battery as much as possible. Once your battery runs down, anywhere below 100%, you can activate this charger by holding down this button. They say for 3 seconds, but it's more like 2. As soon as you see a light turn on the back or you hear your phone start charging, you'll be able to see here that we've got the little lightning icon there, so the phone is charging. As far as charging the phone goes, it takes about 1% per minute. So I was able to go from 50% to 55% in 5 minutes and so forth. And of course, when you get up into the 90% range, it takes much longer, just like a standard charger would. Now, if you're recharging the case, you're going to want to use a 2-amp charger. I used my old BlackBerry tablet charger, and I was able to get the case on its own to charge fully in about an hour. Again, once it gets up to the 90% range or so, it slows down quite a bit. So when working with lithium-ion batteries, we really only have to worry about going from about 10% to 90%. You don't really want to discharge your battery completely, and after you get to 90%, it starts to charge very slowly no matter what, and can take a ridiculous amount of time to get to 100%, and you don't really need to worry about at least the top 5% of that charge. If you use a trickle charger on this, it is going to take you a very long time. I had this plugged into a standard USB 1-amp charger for about 45 minutes, and it never got beyond the 25% capacity indicator here on the back. Whereas with the rapid charger, I was able to get up to 75% in an hour. And again, I wouldn't worry too much about this, but when you see, hopefully you can see the first blue dot here is flashing, showing that we're at 25% or below. And when it gets to the point where the last dot is flashing, we know that we are at 75% or more. So once you get up to the third notch here, you should be good to go. If you want to get 100% charge though, I would recommend treating this like an overnight charger, the same way that I would if you were trying to use a trickle charger. So again, a 2-amp charger is definitely the way to go. You can get this charged in about an hour to the point where you can get a full 90% charge on your battery in about the same amount of time. If you found the video helpful, like it, share it, check out my channel for more tutorials and product reviews, and most of all, remember to hit the subscribe button. Feel free to leave your feedback in the comments section, and thanks for watching.